Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and once again we're going to play 5D chess with Multiverse Time Travel. So the other day we streamed for roughly 2.5 hours. It was a single game with 20 plus timelines on it. Gave me a headache. So with that being said, I'm going to try something a little bit more simple. Well, as simple as this game could possibly get. We're just going to do some puzzles. We did do some of them on stream the other day. I think Rook Tactics 1, 2, and 3. But for the sake of this video, I'll go ahead and cover them again. So I think I remember these solutions, but... Alright, so the Rook. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Rook. So from my understanding, each piece moves differently through time. And the Rook moves on the same square through time. So it can move up, down, left, or right on the same board. Or if it wants to go through time, it has to stay on the exact same spot and then move across multiple boards that way. So we have to try and figure out a way to checkmate the king, in this particular position. So what we have here is it's white's move, and then white went here with the rook. The black king went down diagonally. And now we're left with this situation. The white king moved up to meet him, and the black king has moved over here. So now we got to figure out a way to checkmate the king, but if you know chess at all, you'll know that this is not a mate in one situation. Typically, to checkmate an enemy king with just the king and rook, you have to force the king into the back file, and then put your king directly in front of their king, and then move that rook forward in order to checkmate him. And in this situation, it's just not possible. So that means we have to attack the king in the past. So we have to click on the rook, and let's see, we're going to move it here. And the reason being, this game introduces the concept of attacking the king backwards through time. So if I were to bring it here, that would effectively attack the king on this spot here. It's weird, I know, but backwards through time, again, the rook, the way it travels through time on the spot that it's sitting on. So technically, this rook, this square here, this square, this square, this square. Oh, look at that, the black king's on that square. Oh, look, the black king's on that square. So that would effectively, and there's no way for the black king to do anything about it from this situation, so he would be checkmated. So we'll go ahead and submit that move. And there you go. So puzzle complete, and if you click on the little red icon, you'll see, oh look, it's attacking the king in the past. And unfortunately, like, the king just can't move the king from the past because it's already happened. From my understanding, you can't modify things in the past. You can only bring other pieces into that time zone. So in order to stop that, the king would have to have been able to take this rook here in the present, and it's just not possible. So that results in a checkmate. Let's go ahead and take a look at the second Rook Tactics puzzle. Okay, so a little bit more crazy. We've got a couple of timelines going on here. So we've got the present here, this white strip, and we've got two rooks, and they're not doing anything. There's no kings there, so it looks like the king may have jumped, because there's two rooks over here, right? So the king jumped out of there into this timeline, and now we've got two timelines. That's not the full picture. If we zoom out, we can actually see the full picture of what transpired. But for the sake of keeping things simple, we'll just focus on what we need to do, and that's checkmate the enemy king. So let's see if we can move any of these. Okay, so this one cannot move through time. This one can. Let's just try moving it through time and see what happens. So let's just say that we decide to move the rook through time. And again, when you're moving the rook through time, it stays on its space, which is the case here. It's staying on the space, but it's moving across to this other board. Now, you may be thinking, oh, well, that's a check, right? Kinda, sorta. That animation's, I think, gotta go. Can we turn that off? So if I do that, though, that's not going to be checkmate, because that's just, the king can get out of that. If I submit that move, yeah, black makes a move there, and that was not mate in one. So we need to reset that puzzle and try again. So let's, again, try to attack it in a spot. Like let's put our current rook here onto a space to where the king is being attacked in the past. So let's try something like that. So we move the rook up like that. Okay. So now if we submit that move, and it's saying yes, it worked, because on the next move the white rook would take this king. Notice, let me go ahead and undo that. From this position, black has no way to stop. Like, it's black's turn right now. This upper timeline, it's white's move in the future. Because, again, this black strip is the present. So, therefore, black has to do something about this rook here to take care of... To stop the mate. So, there's no way he can take this rook. So... There you go. So that would be checkmate. Again, it's a little confusing, I know. And again, I don't even fully understand it. But, you know, these puzzles are kind of helping me to get used to it. Let's go ahead and move on to Rook Tactics 3. I've not figured out 4. We'll look at it, but I doubt I'll be able to figure it out. Okay. So, what do we have going on here? So, you might be tempted, hey, let's checkmate, right? I mean, that is checkmate in a normal game of 3D chess. But you watch. Oh, he's moving through time. So now we've got that. So now let's just go ahead and move that rook over here, and that would attack both kings. And there's no way out of that, I think. No matter what he does, one of those kings is going to get taken. Yeah, I mean, that's that. That was actually more simple than the one before it, in my opinion. But that's just again my opinion. Don't ask me Rook Tactics 4. I'm still trying to figure this out. You're black. You're trying to checkmate the white king. If I move up here, that is checkmate. But then that forces the king to move through time. And now we've got 2 kings on this alternate timeline. So now I'm trying to figure out, okay, what do I do here? I wonder if I can move this rook there? Or I was hoping maybe I was thinking of maybe moving it there, but I don't think that's legal. So if I move it here, that splits it off into this timeline. But in this timeline, yeah, if I have to do something here now. So what would I do here to maybe move this over? This rook will not move through time. If I were to move the king, where would I move it? Like half the challenge in this is predicting where the king, what his next move could be. And when it happens, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I wasn't expecting that, or how did that happen? You know what I mean? It's crazy. So let's just, if I did something like this, let's just submit that move and see what he does. Yeah, see, he's able to move his king to this back board here. So, like, I think part of my solution to this puzzle is going to be stopping him from doing that. And that may mean getting this rook over here. But I'm not exactly sure how to do it. Let's try that. Submit moves. Now he's doing that. And now we've got the same situation here. Let's try that. Submit. Okay, so that was not mate in 2, unfortunately. He keeps time jumping his king all over the place, and it's yeah. So let's not. I don't want to spend 3 hours on one puzzle, so I'm going to, I want to say admit defeat, but I'll come back to it later. And let's go ahead and work on, say, the Knight Tactics 1, and see if we can figure this one out. Now, typically, in a game of chess, it is impossible to checkmate the king with just a king and a knight. Typically, you would need a king, a knight, and a knight, or a king, a knight, and a bishop. You would need a combination of pieces to do it. But let's just see real quick. Submit moves. Okay. Oh, mate in 1, reset puzzle. Alright, so we need to do something. Interesting. Huh. Well, let's just try it. I mean, submit. It's not mate in one there. Reset puzzle. Let's try it over here. Let's see what happens. How is that checkmate? He can move here. Oh, because the knight is attacking this square in the past. Interesting. Oh, no. Well, that and the fact that the way the knight moves through time, and I explained this in my live stream the other day, but the way the knight moves through time, for every... Think of the knight as moving 3 spaces. It moves in an L-shaped pattern. 2 spaces orthogonally, and then 1 space orthogonally in the opposite direction. So, again, like an L. In this situation, for every time the knight jumps through time, it spends 1 space to do it. Think of it as spending one of those 3 spaces. So, the knight is actually attacking, and what's the coordinate on that? D4? The knight is attacking the d4 space because the knight would be moving forward 2 spaces, and then it would be moving through time to get back to this point to take it. So it's not actually attacking the c4 square, it's attacking the d4 square, which is, again, it's just the way the knight moves through time. And that's just interesting, and yeah, and there's nothing that the king can do about it here. So we'll finish that puzzle. And we'll try Knight Tactics 2. These are all new to me, so we're learning these for the first time. Alright, so how are we going to do this? We need to get our knight in a position to attack, like, here or here, but can we move it through time? If I put it there, that just seems kind of silly. Or maybe if I put... This is a mate in 1, so I don't think... See, if I move it here... Oh, because the... Well, I don't think the knight's protecting it. I'm just curious to see what would happen. No, yeah, that's not... Yeah. You lose. Okay, undo move. Let's reset. Let's try something different. Let's do... I guess... Let's move it through time. Move through time there. Yeah, that's... I figured that. So what now? Gotta figure this out. Okay, what if we did... I mean, that's, the king would just move to the left, right? Oh, okay. Interesting. So why is it? Okay, so let's analyze. I see. So remember how I said that the knight, again, for every space that it moves through time, it gives up part of its L movement. In this case, it's moving backwards twice through time, so it would only move 1 space. So by moving the knight, let's go ahead and reset the puzzle. So right now, we've got this. Okay, but if we move here and submit moves. Yeah, so in the next move, it's actually attacking the A4 space. Because, again, think of it as moving 3 spaces. It cost 1 space to move here, and then another space... Well, it costs 1 space to move here, 1 space to move here, and then its last remaining 3rd space, it moved up 1 to take the king, or to attack it. So that's where that's coming from. It's so... You know, the puzzles, it kind of makes sense, but then you actually try to apply it in an actual game, and your brain is still like, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Alright, so now we've got another knight puzzle. Yeah, this one's bad. I mean, that pawn could just move up and get a queen, and that's black's move. So we need to figure out a way to attack the king. Can we move any of these in time? Well, by moving it there, that's checking the king, right? But I don't know if that would... But see, that timeline doesn't matter now. Because this white one... Yeah, so if I submit this move... Yeah, so that's not going to work there. So, if we try to branch off at this point, it would create a white one. From my understanding, the way the timelines work, you've got this purple line, right? And you've got this separate purple line. And I know that it's my purple line because Black's timeline jumps go up, and my timeline jumps go south. They go down. So white is sort of branching off to the south here, and black is branching off to the north. So I know that this is mine at some point. And it looks like I did that because, yeah, it's branching off down here. So, yeah, and yeah, see, I took this knight, I brought it back in time here, and that branched it off into this. That's what white did, and that's why he has his own second timeline. So, if I were to create a third timeline right now, it would not be legal. It would appear as a white, I want to say legal. It would just be, it wouldn't be important right now. It'd be a third white line, and those colored lines, white or black, don't matter from what I'm told. So just to illustrate, let's do that again. If I just move it there, see that white line coming down. So that's the second timeline that I've created that that is coming down on my side. Now the only way for this white to turn purple, from my understanding, again, I'm going to be using that term a lot from my understanding, is if black creates his own timeline jump, and that would then cause this to be valid. Okay, so yeah, it's strange. So obviously this is not going to work. So let's just reset puzzle. So I think based on what I'm seeing here, I think we need to make a move that does not time jump, but attacks the king in the past, perhaps. How can I do that? If I can get a knight onto this square here, or oh, how about up here? Now, I don't know if this is correct or not, but in the past, well, I don't know. All right, let's just see what happens. Yeah. For the wrong reason. Okay, I was looking at... in my head, let's go ahead and reset the puzzle. This is what I was thinking. From this position, right? Undo. From this position, the knight is 2 spaces away from where the king is sitting on this first board. So that's why I'm thinking, okay, 1 space to move back in time, and the remaining 2 spaces to the right too, and that attacks that king. But I guess I was successful for a different reason. So let's just submit move. So it's the same idea, just on a different board. Okay. It's pointing to this board instead. Move through time once and over 2 spaces. Okay. So I was right, but for the wrong reason. Fun stuff. Okay, and wow. Okay, so this is a mate in 1. How are we gonna do that? So from here, if I did that, no. If I moved through time here, it's not actually checking the king though there. But I'm curious to see how that would resolve itself. In theory though, again, moving through time, then moving up 2 spaces to take it. Ah, look at that! See? Okay. Got that one. Alright, so again, for those of you that weren't following or didn't understand, let's reset. So again, my goal with the knight was to put it into a position that would attack the king in the past, so I have to like be 1 or 2 spaces away from it, instead of the typical 3, again, via the L shape. So I needed to put it somewhere that would be like, yeah, so putting it here would not work, because he would probably just take it, I would assume. He just, yeah, pushed the pawn. Yeah, that does nothing. He wasn't in check there. So you have to move the knight to a position where the king is under attack. In this case, it would be here. And, yeah, that's 2 spaces away. Moving through time, then moving up 2 spaces would attack the king there. So submit. There you go. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Yeah. So, Knight Tactics 5. Mate in 1. This should be fun. Okay. Again, I think we need to move the knight into a position that would attack the king. Now, this is... See, if I move it here... That's not going to do anything, because the king is... If I moved it here, the king would simply take it in that current timeline, right? I mean, he would just take it, yeah. So that's not it. Moving it here doesn't seem like it would do anything either, because the king could just move back 1 on that current board, yeah, like that. So... moving it through time seems to be the only way to do it, but why? Why would you do this? The king could just move to the right one, and here the pawn would take the knight. So maybe check with the pawn? I mean, I don't think that's it either. No, he would just move. This is a mate in 1. So, it's so strange. If we moved... Yeah, moving there and moving... Yeah, none of those worked, right? Alright, well, let's just try the other options. I want to see why... Okay, let's... How did that become checkmate? Okay, let's think about it. In theory, the knight is attacking the king over here on this board. Again, through time and 2 spaces away. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. It's just... Thinking about it like that is so strange. Alright, but... So, okay, so it's attacking the king there. Wow. Okay, that makes sense. Now that I see the solution, that makes sense, but, like, it's still mind-boggling. Okay, yeah, move through time, moved up 2 spaces. Finish puzzle. Alright, let's... Mate in 3? Really? Oy. How's that gonna work? What if we just moved... there? Now, if we move through time... We're probably gonna have to move through time at least once. Alright, submit. What? Wait. What just happened? Okay, so instead of moving the king on this board, he moved it to here, which branched that off there. Interesting. So now I have to... Okay, so I'm thinking I need to get a knight here. So is it possible to move one of these knights, like this one, up 2 spaces and then through time? Oh no, because it's going... I can put it here, right? This one, that would not... Alright, let's just try it. I want to move it here. And in theory, it's attacking this king here. But the king would just move up 1. I don't think that's the right one. And there's still this one to mess with. Oh my gosh. Oh man. So what if I move this through time? Oh yeah, this is there's no way this is happening. There's no way. The amount of jumping going, like, I'm yeah, this is beyond me at this moment. Yeah, this may have to be one of those. We'll come back to it. All right, let's reset that puzzle. There's too many jumping. All right, submit. All right, so let's jump this knight. If we jumped it here, so he's still moving his king regardless of what we do. So now it's a matter of getting our knights into the correct positions. Here, it needs to be over. This is attacking this square here. That's not it. Wow. That is ridiculous. I like, part of me wants to do as little time jumping as possible. Let's reset the puzzle. What if we move the king up? I don't think the king is going to cut it. I think we need to checkmate it with the knights. Let's just see. Oh, he moves. Okay. Now, if we move this knight through time to this spot, he would just... That would form a new timeline, and he would just take it, wouldn't he? I mean, that wouldn't be ideal. So I don't think that's the right set of moves either. So if we did something like that, submit. He's there. So we move... maybe this one through time. Maybe put it there. But now he's going to jump away from it. That is so crazy. Look at that. That is nuts. Moving it up here, the king would just take it, right? Although, is there a way for this knight to attack one of these kings in the past? Like, can this knight move to a spot that would attack the kings in the past? Like, if I moved it here... I don't know if that would work. And then I've got one of these knights here. But what's to stop him from just moving a king, like... Alright. Yeah, at this point... All of these are purple timelines. Now, I'm thinking... Maybe leave that there. Maybe we move a knight from this board onto that board. That way it uses both moves. So maybe we'll put the knight... You can put the knight here. And that's a check. He could move there, though. Right? Oh, yeah, that one's safe. That wouldn't matter. Alright. This is a puzzle I'm going to have to come back to at some point. This is a come back to later when I have more Excedrin migraine. This is a mate in 1, somehow. Like, the mate in 1s I can handle, but the mate in 3s where anything can go wrong, like, that's just ridiculous. Alright, so what, I'm black? And I'm supposed to mate in 1? Interesting. So we need to put... well, it's black's move here and here. So, in theory, no, because the bishop would take. So this knight is kind of stuck here. No matter where it moves, the bishop will take it. So I think I need to get this knight into a position that would possibly attack this king in the past. What if I moved it here? It would move through time 3 boards, right? 1, 2, 3. And stay in its spot. And then it would attack the king in the past here. Haha! Yeah, I was right. It attacks it. Right, because it moves 2 spaces forward. Okay. See, I can do the mate in 1s. It's those mate in 3s where everything... There's like a gazillion combinations. You know what I mean? It's just weird that this is Knight Tactics 7, and I can't do 6. So, yeah. So there's more to do. There's the bishop tactics, the combination attacks, the back rank basics, queen tactics, king tactics, opening traps, tricky checkmates, advanced branching. I can only imagine. So with the video being, I think, roughly half an hour at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put a cut here. Maybe we'll tackle Rook Tactics 4 and Knight Tactics 6 at a later date, but hopefully this gave you some help on, how the Rook and the Knight behaves and some of the basic concepts of, how the game is actually played. Don't ask me for anything more than that, though, because I'm still trying to learn it myself, but hopefully you enjoyed it regardless. If you guys haven't already subscribed to me on Twitch and YouTube, that way you can stay up to date with any new content I happen to publish. This is Vince, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.